We're back with the best of Bleav Network Hour on Stadium. Do you believe?
We're back, baby. It's the charity stripe. Hit your free throws because they are free. Joshua Fisher, Alexander Tosmirakosopoulos, DJ Nikki Snacks Kreider.
And our new friends, the mic stands.
The mics.
Mike Stan.
The three blind mics.
We got a lot of Joes in the office. It was time to get some mics.
Yeah.
We have intern Mikey, but, enough.
He's just an intern.
Some Joes, some Mikes.
Couple Tommies, couple Capicolas down at the dock.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Is that like a notoriously Italian name? I feel like it's not.
Tommy. Yeah.
I feel like you're saying it like it is, but I don't know if
I
it
guess
is.
you can make any name Italian. Like
I think the most Italian
Yeah,
name
but
is
like-
Rocco.
Rocco.
Ramondre. Like, you can make anything. Nah, not really.
Rocco.
That. Justin Herbert. Speaking of Justin Herbert.
Yeah, totally.
Not Italian. Shablois playing this weekend, though, obviously against the Jacksonville Jaguars. In what many people are saying could be a battle of the quarterbacks of the future of the AFC, Lawrence throwing his name into the Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, Herbert mix. Clay Harbor, Jordan DeLugo talk about it on Bleav in Jaguars. Check it out.
Both of these teams do.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
I'm taking Doug. We're both
True.
taking Doug. Love
Doug
it.
Peterson.
All right. Now we got to talk about quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence or Justin Herbert here, man.
Man, this is tough. This is a tough one. And, Trevor Lawrence is 23, Herbert 24. They're both big-time players, but maybe I'm biased, but I've obviously watched Trevor a lot more, but I think the upside of Trevor Lawrence is just too much to pass up. And, I know you look at career stats, but you got to take into account what happened with Trevor Lawrence last year with the coach he had. I mean, Urban Meyer was not a guy that's going to help your numbers. But you look at the last half of this season, and I would take Trevor Lawrence over the majority of quarterbacks in this league, almost all of them, barring maybe one or two. And that's why I have to go with Trevor. I know what he's capable of. I think he's got the most ability, talent in any quarterback, and one of the best complete quarterbacks we've seen in the draft in years. So I think for me, I got to go with Trevor. This guy's got legs. He can throw it. He's got accuracy. He's got the personality. He can work. He's a leader. He's got everything you want as a quarterback. So I'm not saying Herbert doesn't. Herbert can sling it. Second in the league in receiving yards, 25 touchdowns. The guy's a baller. He can run too. But if you have to pick one, it's 1A, 1B. These guys are close, but I'm going with Trevor.
Yeah.
Does the debate between Lawrence or Herbert offend you, or do you welcome it?
No, I welcome it. I think it's a question that needs to be had. He was the number one overall pick.
Yeah.
Obviously, the first season, it was kind of a disappointment, but it's a train wreck. You had Urban Meyer, and the team wasn't very good. Finally, you get him some weapons. You get him a good coach. The defense played really well. They're a playoff team in the second season. He's already outperformed Herbert in that. This took Herbert 3 seasons to get to a playoff.
Yeah.
I mean, he went from worst to first in his division.
Yeah, their stats are pretty similar. I think they both have 25 touchdowns
This season, very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both around, I think, Herbert's 68% and Lawrence is 66%
Now,
in terms of completion percentage. Turnovers, Herbert has 13 turnovers total and Lawrence has 17 total. I mean,
tomato, potato.
Well, statistically, though, in defense of Herbert, last year and the year before are leaps and bounds better than Lawrence's best statistical season. He's only had 2, and this season has been his best.
Yeah, well, I'll also say that Herbert has played half the season with cracked ribs.
Sure.
And more than half the season without Keenan Allen and Mike Williams.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And the whole season basically without Rashawn Slater.
And you can argue the Jags, who are their wide receivers? And look, Zay Jones ain't bad. Christian Kirk, they paid him a lot of money for a reason.
Ingram's fine.
Evan Ingram, people put a lot of respect on his name in New York. He got hurt a lot. Resurrection here in Jacksonville.
Look, now
they need more guys.
Yeah, both those those receivers would be number 3s.
Yeah, but we're talking about the Chargers rolling out DeAndre Carter as their number 2 and Josh Palmer as their number 1.
We like Arnie Palmer.
We do, but come on, DeAndre Carter and him,
All right. Well,
They were Michael Bandy at one point. Like,
I don't even know.
Yeah, do you know who that is exactly?
No. Let's shift gears though. Let's talk about the head coach, Pat Leonard, P. Lenz, guesting on Sorrello Sports Talk with Joe Sorrello. Check this one out.
Blows me away that the Chargers are a favorite right now. I know they won some games down the stretch, but they're on the road against a team that can score. And I know the Jaguars defense is going to give some things up too, but first of all, I do not trust Brandon Staley's defense. I know they've played a little bit better recently, but I don't trust it. I think Trevor Lawrence, this line, I know that they barely beat Josh Dobbs' Titans, but Lawrence missed a couple layup throws that he usually doesn't miss in that game. Otherwise, that game wouldn't have been as close as it was. And I look at the Chargers and I say, you played Mike Williams and got him hurt, and now he's questionable with a back injury for this key game. You play him in the meaningless game in week 18. I think this sets the Chargers up for disaster. And not only am I taking the Jaguars to cover and win, but at least league sources I've talked to, there are some people who believe that if Staley loses this game, he will be fired. And if that happens, they could fire both Telesco, the GM, and Brandon Staley. And if that happens, Joe, I'm just telling you, everyone that I know and trust in the league who would know thinks that Sean Payton, that this would be his job.
I was just going to say that when you mentioned Staley. I mean, look, I think Brandon Staley is frankly a joke of a head coach. I'm sorry to sound so harsh, but I just don't think he knows what he's doing.
Nikolai,
What's up?
if he loses this game, fired.
Done.
Toss?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too many questionable decisions all year long. There's just too many times when you're asking yourself, what is he thinking? And look, sometimes it works and sometimes it fails miserably. But I think a lot of the times he's too prideful in his decisions. He tends to make a decision and just ride with it. Like that last game of the regular season, week 18, where it meant nothing, and he started all of his star players, ended up getting Mike Williams hurt, ended up getting Joey Bosa hurt, and still continued to ride Herbert, still continued to have Eckler out there, still continued to have Keenan Allen.
Do you feel like
there.
he's a guy that like owns his mistakes, or at least admits them?
Well, not really, because
I don't think it matters. It's
even
a mistake.
Even like the last season, right, when we were playing against the Raiders, and all you had to do was not call a timeout because the Raiders were down just to run out the clock and take the tie, and it eliminates you from the playoffs.
He overthinks it. He overthinks it too much.
Yeah, but I bring up the mistakes because as long as you acknowledge them, then you can move past them, make adjustments to not make them in the future. If you don't acknowledge them, how can you get better as a coach?
He thinks, okay, he can keep testing the limits. He's a gambler. One guy who was really questioned after his first year, but is righted the ship with Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor. Jesse Bates, guest on Bleav in Bengals with Pac-Man Jones,
Super cool guest.
Amazing guest. He looks swaggy. You'll see in a second. Talk about their head coach, Zach Taylor. Check it out.
The preseason to now, you guys look so fresh. Do you think that approach that he took early on in the season is the reason why y'all so fresh toward the playoffs right now and toward the end of the season, at the end of the season?
Like I said, Zach know what we're feeling, know what kind of conversations are being had in the locker room. So, yeah, like you said, throughout the preseason, he knows when we're getting good work. He communicates when it's live, communicates when it's not live. So there's no gray area there as to when it's time to turn it on. So it's easy to play for a coach that has a respect for the game, respect for the players, and the type of work that we do. So, like you said, Pat, I mean, anytime you got a coach like that want to take care of you, take care of the players, take some days off, but mentally stay focused in the game plan. I mean, it's easy to play hard for a coach like that. So much respect to Zach, for sure.
If Burrow just goes, let's say he wins, screw it. Let's say Burrow wins the whole thing. Where does he rank to you on quarterbacks in the league today?
Number 2.
Behind Mahomes.
Yep.
If he wins.
Who else has won?
No, I'm with you. I think there's
Josh Allen hasn't won it yet,
Yeah.
I mean, like, twist my arm, I might say he's the second best right now anyway, before the playoffs even start. Like,
you go to back-to-back Super Bowls and then you get it done the next year, also in your third season.
But he can't be one.
I don't think he
can't
can be one
better
yet.
than Mahomes.
He can't be one yet.
If he goes to Kansas City and beats Mahomes,
He's not there yet.
Okay.
We've watched way too much tape on Mahomes to know what he can do. I know we've seen a lot of Burrow in college. He's played great so far in the NFL, but like Mahomes is a human highlight reel.
Okay. We got to go to break, but I want to come back to it, and I want to get.
There's a resume that has to be built
Sure.
to truly be ahead of Mahomes.
Yep.
Okay, understood. We'll be right back. Josh Fisher, Alexander Tossman, The Rock Tosopoulos, DJ Nicky Snacks Crider, together with the Charity Stripe Best to Bleav on Stadium.
Hang tight. We'll be right back in just a second with some more great Bleav content on Stadium.